Hello everybody, this is DiffTheEnder on a different view, and today we'll be doing something slightly different, and I will be giving you a video review on Elobuff.com, which is a stat tracking website that's recently released. Everyone's been talking about it. It does cost some money. Let's take a look and see if this is actually worth it and compare it to some other sites and to see if you should pay for this service. So now, let's get into it. So Elobuff, what is this? This is a stat tracking website. For those unfamiliar with stat tracking websites, it basically covers everything from the number of games you played, who you played, your average statistics for that, tracks your elo gain, elo loss, pretty much everything you can track outside of your game to do with your progress in games, if that makes sense. So this does come at a cost. Elobuff comes at a cost of $6 per month. This is quite commonly cited as being an expensive price, and that Elobuff should reduce this price. Today I'll be taking a look and seeing whether this website is worth the price. So firstly, let's take a look at how you sign up. So you sign up right here, set your name, email address, password, pay by credit card if you want, and your setup screen will start off like this. Unfortunately, I have to use pictures here because I did not record the video of when I did register. So firstly, once you registered your account, you want to enter your summoner name and associate a summoner account with your Elobuff account. So once you enter the summoner name, Elobuff will ask you to confirm your summoner. How does it do this? It uses rune pages. So what it does is you need to go to your rune pages, rename one of the rune pages to the confirmation code, and once you've done that, Elobuff will recognize that change, will recognize that you are the true owner of the summoner account, and get you onto the next page. On this next page, you follow people. You follow champions that you like, you follow summoners that you like, you follow friends you like. So it's just, to me, a few champions that I'm meant to like. It gave me Zillion as well, which is a champion I do not play that often, which is a champion I only played maybe once the week after Elobuff was launched. It seemed to think I like Zillion, which is an error. So I had to unfollow that. So that shows you something about the accuracy. I did like the other three champions though, so it is a good suggestion system. It also asks you to follow your friends. Now, I do play with all these people quite often, so that's some good suggestions. It also asks me to follow top summoners. So the suggestions here seem to be quite random and picks all the popular players, team tournament players, and suggest them to me. Okay, fantastic. And setup is complete. Now let's go to the actual website and show you what your dashboard looks like. So now this is your dashboard, and it gives up like a Facebook style news feed of your friends, your pro summoners, your champions that you like, and their recent activity. So I've played normal games with my friend Sushi. St. Vicious has played a game with Elements, and that's pretty much your dashboard. It's pretty much a feed. Now you also got a box here that tells you your most recent game, and my most recent game was played as Olaf about an hour ago. Apparently I got 7-5-13, my items, my summer spells. It also shows you your activity this week. So I played 43 normal games, got a pretty much even record, and I played tanks and AP carries the most. So now you can also see who's online. So now that we've gone past the dashboard, let's take a look at the actual features of this website, and let's see how it compares to some other free alternatives for stat tracking websites. So here for my summoner page, we can see my most common roles, my most played champions, my ratings, my current friends, how much they've played, how much they've won. I can see my champions and games I played with them, the win rate. So apparently I'm pretty good with Mundo. I can sort this using multiple filters. So golden economy wise, I can see that I've earned the most with Tarek, which was in a custom game I played. And you can click on that champion. You can also see the contributions I've made in certain games. So in that particular game I went 6-6-27. Out of my total contribution, that little red bar there is how much AD I contributed. Blue bar is how much AP I contributed. The green bar is how much I supported my team. Yellow bar is how much I tanked for my team. It is unclear to me how well this contribution bar is measured. My best guess is that it takes a percentage of the damage taken in the game, and that's your tank, a percentage of the magic damage dealt, and that's your AP, a percentage of the AD dealt, that's your AD. And there's also support, which I would guess is the number of assists you made. Now, let's take a look at how it labels roles. So if you go to your games, you can see that you've got your match history here. It's laid out beautifully. If there's one thing I can say about Elobuff, the presentation is amazing. The presentation alone is something that they worked on extremely well, and you can see the amount of data you have in nice colorful bars, and as we all know, I like colors. So let's take a look at my previous game. So you can see I've got 7 kills, largest multi-kill kill streak, deaths, and assists. That's all very nice, but let's take a look at whether we can find this on the same website, on another website, a comparison website. So let's go to lolking here, lolking.net, and let's go to my summoner name. Finds me quite quick. And if I go to my match history here, I've got that same Olaf game, and I can't see my damage dealt, etc. So this LOL King does not show individual match stats. However, let's take a look at another alternative, and let's go to lolmatches.com, which requires you to download a client, and it automatically uploads the games you've played to store in its database. So if you go to LOL Matches and you find me, let's take a look at my recent matches. There's my Olaf game. I can click this game, and I can see the items I built, and I can see all of my statistics. So these same statistics, all of these ones here, are the same statistics that's displayed right here, albeit in a much more attractive manner with nice colorful bars. Now let's take a look at this. It tells me my final health, armor, and magic resist. Can I find this on LOL Matches? Nope, I cannot. Elobuff, I would assume, takes a combination of all your runes, masteries, and items you've built to manually calculate your health, armor, and magic resist. This is a very nice feature, and it lets you know exactly how you ended that game. This is something that no other website does. Just this bit. As you can also see, it gives me my contribution bar, so I dealt quite a bit of AD damage, very, very small amounts of AP, or support, and that's how many assists I contribute to the team, I assume, and tank, how much damage I took in relation to everybody else. Now, as you can also see, it labels the role you play. So, Brand, I played him as an AP carry, the items match up. Lee Sin, I played as jungler. Olaf, I played as a jungler. So now, Olaf here is labeled as a tank jungle, Lee Sin is labeled as an AD bruiser jungle. If you look at the items here, I've got a Frozen Mallet, and a Maw of Malmortius, and a Mercreds, and a Wriggles. Here I've got a Wriggles, Mercreds, common items, as well as a Frozen Mallet, common items, except the Maw of Malmortius is a Negatron Cloak here, and I've got an Atmos. So it seems having an Atmos constitutes being an AD bruiser on Elobuff. For the most part, it guesses your role quite well. AD bruiser, support Poppy, which I did not play. I went top lane Poppy. It assumed I was playing support due to the multiple gold pretends I bought, as well as a Sheen. Tank Volibear, tank Jungle Mundo, tank Shen. For the most part, it seems correct. Now, let's take a look at Elobuff. LOL King, no roles. LOL Matches, no roles. However, what Elobuff does well is lets you sort games by role. So, champions by most played, I can sort it by role. So, if I go Bruiser, sort by Bruiser, I haven't played any Bruisers apparently. Let's go to AD Bruiser. I have played AD Bruisers, so those are my games with AD Bruisers. Now let's take a look at Tank. There, so it gives me all my champions. In fact, it might be better if I go to someone like Skara, who's played quite a lot of games since the launch of Elobuff. And you can see that he's played 299 games as AP carry since Elobuff is launched. If you sort by roles here, it'll be much more effective. So let's take a look at how good Skara is at AD carry. He hasn't played many games, as you can see, but he's won every game as Gangplank. That's useful to know. It also provides a disruption tab. I'm not sure what they mean by disruption, but it only shows you kills, multi-kills, and killing sprees. This is also something you can see in other websites, however, it does not collate all your statistics champion-wise. This is something that only Elobuff does. Let's take a look, go back to my page here. We're browsing so slow. I can look at my champion statistics for all my normal games. I can also look at it for ranked games. I can see that I've played Lee Sin the most. I've got a negative win ratio, which is sad. I can see my KD ratio, average kills, average stats, average assists. What I can't see is how I build my champions. So if I go to Skara and go to... Actually, let's just go to his AP carry. He plays a lot of Lux, it seems. So if you go to Skara's Lux and look at his details, you can see that all of his Lux games in the past, the contributions bars seem somewhat equal. And you can see his most commonly built items. So he always builds a Doran's Ring. He's always got 15 out of 15 games he buys Sorcerer Shoes. So it shows you what items they've built, which is useful for researching what champions you want to play. And this is also something that LoL Matches or LoL King does not do. Now, let's go back to Runes and Masteries. Let's take a look at a rune page for Skara. So it's got a page called Foot Dive, and this gives you 9 marks of insight, 9 silver replenishment, etc. Let's take a look at the same thing on LoL King. So if I go Skara here, 2566, that guy's got such a high elo. Okay, you go Runes, Foot Dive, it's the same thing, and it's also laid out in a format. It's effectively the same display. You can also see the active rune page on LoL King. So you can see that Skara's most recently used rune page is MSMP5, which is his 10th page. Can he do this with Elobuff? I'm trying to find it. Let's take a look at games. Recently played. Can I see the runes he used here? Let's click on them again. His runes, I can't find his currently used runes. I can, however, find all of his rune pages. The same applies for masteries here. You can see Skara's masteries. Mastery page 1, mastery page 2, mastery page 3. Let's take a look at the same thing at LoL King. Is masteries. As you can see, it's the same setup here. However, it shows you the most active rune page, which is the most recently used, which is this page 1. This is something, once again, you can't do with Elobuff. Counters and synergies. What are these two tabs? So, Skara apparently wins most against Wukong. He's got a 52.47 win chance against the Wukong, whereas against a Hecarim, he's only got a 48% move speed, win chance. I'm not sure how it calculates this, and it would need quite a large number of games played to even be accurate, and this seems gimmicky to me because not only do champions get buffed and nerfed every patch, you might start playing new champions, so figuring out individual champions that you are better or worse against is not that great. However, having said that, you can limit that by lane. So I can go lane champions, AP carry, Skara playing Katarina, enemies roll, lane. So if Skara is playing Katarina as an AP carry in lane against an enemy laner, he wins the most against Janna, but loses the most against Taric. Once again, this does seem quite odd, Not sure how it calculates it. Personally, I wouldn't find it useful. Now, Synergies. This is the same thing, except it figures out who Scar benefits most from having on his team. Let's do the same thing again. Let's say Scar is playing Katarina. Let's say he's playing Katarina as an AP carry. And in lane, he benefits most from having a Taric, MF, or a Vayne on his team. Once again, not sure how this is calculated. This does not seem extremely useful to me. Seems quite gimmicky. Friends. Scar's friends. I assume these are the people he has added on Elobuff. He plays I Will Dominate, has played a lot of games with Scar, and he's only got a 60% win rate with him. That pretty much covers every tab on Elobuff. However, it does have a stream tab where you can click on his stream and it will show up Scar's stream. Now that's what champion pages are like. Now let's take a look at tournament games. You can go to tournament games tab and you can see recent tournaments that people have played. However, the most recent tournament that this page does show is 2 months ago. There have been a lot of more minor tournaments, a lot more small tournaments, Go for LOL for example, every week, and this only seems to include huge games. So I mean, I'm talking about like IEM, Kiev, World Masters. Only huge games seem to be listed on here. I'm not sure how often they update this. Public games. You can browse most recent games on the server. Let's take a look at rankings. Champion rankings. Based on my champions, these are the champions I favored at the Remember. So the best Lee Sin player is apparently Broto, Olaf, Eho Max, Dr. Mundo, Cheers Max. I have no idea how accurate this is. Once again, it seems to give them a score based on Elobuff's value. Solo queue rankings by champion. Let's click on Akali, see what we find here. Akali rankings. Number 1 Akali player is 760 is on EUS server. Best on NA server is Chen Yu of M. I can't find anyone I know here. Let's take a look at Cassiopeia. Maybe you'll find original there. No, once again, it seems to rate people based on their ELO rating and a win percentage. It's quite ambiguous as to how they do this. Performances. You can see most recent performance of Cassiopeia at a higher ELO. Everyone here is over 2k. Once again, this all seems quite trivial, and it's not something you do to research how you play a champion, and seems slightly more gimmicky. You can also see rankings as AD carry. Number 1 AD carry is apparently Yellow Pete on EU West, Enjoy Dropper on North America, Teddy Rowe, Guardsman Bob, EU West, based on Corky. You can do that for every ranking. You can see my game history, which is my recent games. It's quite the same thing as your champion overview page, laid out different. Champions, highest win chance. Highest win chance is Amumu. Can you find the same information elsewhere? Yes, you can. Let me go to League of Stats here. League of Stats, champions, basic stats. Let's take a look at flavor of the month from solo queue at any rating. Win rate, Warwick edges out Amumu by 0.1%. Warwick does not even list near the top here. He is right here at plus 0.34%. Once again, not sure how this works. Does it take into account everything? It takes account solo queue from the last 3 days. This takes into account solo queue from, let's take a look at last week. Maybe that'll make it more accurate. Oh, indeed, Amumu is the highest at 56.3. Close enough. It's the same thing as League of Stats, laid out in a grid format with nicer pictures, it seems. Highest win chance, sorted by role. So if I go to highest win chance by AP carry, Ari has the highest win chance. That's the same thing as this page, except it filters out every other role. So it'll filter out anyone that's not an AP carry. Is a Moo an AP carry? No. 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 That's the first one. No, no, no. That's the second one. And it's the same thing you see on this page. Ari, then Karthus. Game impact. What does game impact mean? Game impact averaged by most played. It shows you win percentages. Sort by win percentage. Ari seems to have the highest win percent. Yep. Kill death assist. Highest kill death assist ratio is a Cassidon, averaging almost 8.47. It seems. Golden economy. Wait for that to load. Gold earned. Karthus seems to average the highest amount of gold earned, which makes sense. Disruption. Darius seems to average the highest kills, 9.61. If we average it by multi-kill, Katarina seems to have the highest rate of multi-kills, as same as Akali, slightly higher than Akali, which seems to match up. Killing spree, Darius seems to be the highest, so Darius seems to be killing quite a lot of people. Objectives. We'll take a look at who destroys the most hearts, which is Misfortune. Highest inhibitors destroyed is also Misfortune. Highest time spent dead is Karthus, which matches up, and Katarina next. Least time spent dead is Janna. Let's take a look at damage and healing. Basically, it tells you how much damage someone's dealt, what proportion of it is physical, what proportion of it is magical. Same thing with damage taken, and same thing with healing. Vital statistics. Vital statistics show you who has the highest health, health regen, mana, defense, movement. Let's take a look at movement. Highest average movement speed was with Pantheon and Mastery at 399. That seems to match up right. 80 stats. Talon seems to average the highest 80 stats by the end of the game. And Jack seems to average the highest amount of lifesteal. So, as you can see, it's also got rankings for champions. So, we've pretty much covered all the features of Elobuff here. There's also multiple filters for each stat. Let's take a look at whether League of Stats can do the same thing. League of Stats. Tell me who counters Brand. Elobuff, tell me who counters Brand. Let's take a look. Elobuff. Where is Brand? Brand. It tells me the most common items on Brand, which is something no other website does. Best synergies. Brand wins the most when there's a Darius on a team, and is countered most by Sona. Let's expand this. Alright. So Brand's chance to win. Higher is better for Brand. His lowest is against the Mumu, Janna, Yorick. What? And this data is from all regions, all time, all ratings. Let's take a look at what League of Stats is telling me. Brand. Least chance to win against Morgana, Nocturne, Yorick, Twist of Fate. Morgana, Yorick, Janna, Twisted Fate. Some slight discretion in the difference of data, however it is not major and is likely due to the filters that we have been using here. So League of Stats here only allows you to filter out one game mode and does not allow you to view stats from every single game mode. So it's accurate enough, in my opinion. Synergies. Who does Brand play best with? According to Elobuff, Darius, Yorick, and Mumu. Let's take a look at Brand. Can I find him? Nope. Oh, this gives me the best combination for duo key use. Soraka and Janna apparently result in the highest win percentage. So if you're duoing someone, go Soraka, and someone also can go Janna, it seems. I can't find stats based on a champion. Maybe I can do this. Yes, I can. It's look at this page. It's almost identical to Elobuff. There's top summoners of Janna, who Janna dominates against, and who she gets countered by. Let's go here to Janna. Janna, most commonly built items. Best synergies: Sin, Soraka, Amumu. Countered by Taric, Blitzcrank, Soraka. Now here's something that's interesting. Elobuff sorts this using their tags. So difficult support counters. They use their custom tagging system to decide on support counters and synergies. League of Stats does not do this. However, let's take a look at whether the synergies is accurate. Dominates against, gets countered by. It does not tell me who Janna synergizes with. However, it does tell me the top summoners at Janna. So let's take a look at rankings here. Top summoner Janna, according to Elobuff, is Alternate F Lord, Leo from Korea, Demonko. None of those people are listed on League of Stats. However, that is due to the fact that League of Stats does not refresh often enough. Items. Thorn's Blade, Phantom Dancer, most equipped on Janna it seems, which is quite odd. Maybe the sample size is incorrect. Well, that's pretty much everything we've got to see from Elobuff, and as we can see, the biggest differences and the information you can find on Elobuff that is not freely available elsewhere is champion specific details. So if I click on my Lee Sin games, I can see how much I won, how much I contributed, how many items I've equipped, my performances with them improving. I can see who, all of this and beautifully presented. I can look at it for any summoner, and I can also keep track of friends using my dashboard. Every other bit of information, it seems, every other bit of useful information, should I say, is freely available elsewhere, and LoL matches on top even shows my normal Elo chart. And as you can see, I've had a lose streak and a win streak. So, conclusion: would I pay for Elobuff? Would I pay for Elobuff? I would pay for the presentation. Just the fact that I can go to my profile, look at the roles and my win percentage with each role, look at my champions and the details of how I play my champions, is information that no other website collates. Any other website can easily collate this information, but they have not yet done so. Elobuff is the only website that can do this at the moment, and it also labels your champions based on the role. So I like knowing that I play tank and jungler the most, even though I believe that my tank and AD bruiser overlap. It is quite useful. They seem to have a normal rating here, which is pretty much the same as your ranked rating, which is incorrect. LoL matches does give me my correct elo. Conclusion: would I pay for this? Pay it for the presentation. Do not pay for the data. That's what I'd say. So if you want a specific, scan of somebody, say you want to go to Scar's page, look at his current runes, etc., it's not worth paying for that. It is, however, worth paying if you're constantly looking at your stats and you want to see it easily presented, sorted very well, in a great web design. The biggest advantage of this website is its web design. The biggest disadvantage is its cost. I still do think that this website should offer at least a 1-week trial period so people can get used to it. And it is a great website. However, the data it's working off is the same as any other website, and it's how they've made use of this is what they're charging for. So $6 per month for a nice presentation and some extra features like labeling your champions. It's completely up to you, of course. My recommendation is don't pay unless you use LOL King or any other stat website on a daily basis, or if not every other day. If you don't use those websites every other day at least, you wouldn't use Elobuff either. That's my recommendation. So pay if you're using other websites quite often, because this is almost a one-stop shop, and that's pretty much all I can say. I hope you enjoyed this review. I know it has been long, sorry for that. Thank you for watching. Do like, subscribe, favorite if you do like it, and I'll hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.